Hello, hello, and we say good evening to all of you. We speak on behalf of the Pleiadian Council, and we are very pleased to connect with you this moment of your time. And we do say that every time you allow for beings like ourselves to connect with you in your reality, it is of tremendous benefit to all of us. For we grow in the same way that you grow, through the reflections that are shared, and together we truly emerge into a new reality every time. A reality that is sort of the bridge between your reality and our own, is a place that allows for creative growth to ripple out through the multiverse. So our thanks is first to you for allowing this to even occur. We are a extraterrestrial collective consciousness, you could say. We are coming from one of the channel's other soul aspects, and at the point of evolution that this consciousness comes into your reality, we have evolved to the extent that we have a great awareness of the collective consciousness of our world. This happens through a telepathic link-in, where we can simply tune together into information and bring it into our understanding seamlessly. We have evolved for, well, quite some millions of years, as all of the extraterrestrial life has, and your life as well. And through many different epochs, we have come to your world, and we have supported you telepathically on the sides at times. Truly, your planet has emerged from many different streams of extraterrestrial influence from your original creation. And now is the time for you to re-enter, so to speak, into the galactic group of beings that you could consider a federation, an alliance. Together, these many groups are upholding togetherness, connection, community throughout this galaxy, and in connection with others as well. So we support you in what you consider spiritual evolution, for this is the most important bit to get in order for us to make any further degree of contact. And we understand that many of you have already done much to pierce through the veils and to gain information from beings like ourselves from the other side. So we will allow you to dive right into anything you would like to ask of us, share with us, or reflect in any other sort of way. And we will do our best to answer and transmit as well our own energy, which can help and uplift you. And with that, we will say, we are always here with you, as everything is here and now. One of the greatest impediments to your awakening is your insistence on the ideas of linear time. When you come to realize that everything that you would consider the future or the past or alternate universes can be accessed through the now, through your very heart center, you will start to go beyond concepts of right and wrong, concepts of many limiting belief systems, concepts of should or when, and instead realize the infinite potential you have in every moment. And that is what we hope to bring you towards every time we come. So with that said, you may begin whenever you wish.
Just want to say thank you.
Our thanks to you as well, yes.
How should we begin? Is there
Well, do you have something you would like to ask of us? Do you have anything you would like to share in particular?
I have a question for your
All right.
social memory complex.
Yes.
Um, the idea or concept of pyramids has
Yes.
been coming to the fore for me.
Oh, all right.
And for a few other friends. And
Yes.
so I think I'd like to maybe ask a general question about pyramids and their role with
Yes.
us and how they might be coming back to our consciousness.
Well, that shape creates a very specific electromagnetic field that you could consider a portal. So when you make the perfect shape of a pyramid, much like many of the structures of your ancient civilizations, in its center, in its epicenter, there is a vortex field that allows for higher currents of energy to be experienced. And with this, you can do, well, many things. For one, it also creates a sound chamber, especially how you create the inside of it. And from there, your intention will really build upon the initial structure of the pyramid that is healing, regenerative, and supportive of higher states of spiritual connection.
Does existing in a chamber or portal such as that require, how do I ask, a pyramid on the bottom or an octahedron?
No.
Okay.
One side of the pyramid is enough. And even for your purposes, you can visualize a pyramid around you when you meditate or before you go to sleep. Your mind's eye is a very powerful tool that both receives and transmits energy fields. So by picturing certain geometric structures around you when you do energy work, you can imitate and even create etheric crystals that will support you in receiving that energy without the physical structure there itself. This is one way to begin the experiment, though playing with building other pyramids is something that you will return to do in more ways. It will become a new part of your culture once more. It never really went away. It only diminished a bit.
Are there pyramids that generate power in our reality currently that we're not aware of as regular humans?
Yes. Well, the Egyptian pyramids generate a tremendous deal of power that they used to power their society, to create certain changes on their planet, well, your planet at that time, to bridge to higher realms and realities. They had many different purposes. And some of that energy is still being generated, though it is not being used because there are no people intentionally congregating and using those structures for their intention. They still emit the field. And really there are some behind the scenes people exploring other ways and uses of pyramids that we cannot speak to a deal about now, though it is occurring on your planet.
Would those who are exploring such things, is there a reason why that would be hidden from people in this room asking you questions?
Yes. Not just you, but all of you.
Okay. Is that information we could become privy to, or is there a good reason for us to not?
Well, there's many already experimenting with pyramids that you can research and find yourself through quick means on your internet. Though there are some more secret uses behind the scenes that we simply do not have permission to share.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you.
In other words, we do have access to great deals of information that we could not even transmit to this channel because we do not have permission. Were your populace to be informed about certain things that have happened or are happening, it would create certain disruptions that would break the chain of agreements to create the destiny of your race in the times to come. Though we assure you it is for your best interest.
Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you.
Would you feel, are you privileged to share or to validate if the black basalt structures that are being, have been discovered in Antarctica, but quietly by the Black Dogs, as reported by Linda Moulton Howe? Can you validate whether those, of these structures that claim to exist are being exposed from melting ice, if they are real, and possibly what their purpose is?
They are real. They are remnants of a civilization that is very ancient on your planet that we cannot fully reveal yet, though much more of this will start to become uncovered as things pan out. Well, no.
I was just going to say, a lot of us are having multiple paranormal and supernatural experiences that maybe even originally we didn't realize were ET or interdimensionally related. Is it all just to kind of start awakening people to the existence of this new reality?
Yes. There are many of these awakenings happening because in the future you are moving into a time in which open contact is a reality between your planet and many of these other extraterrestrial realms. And because these different groups function at a higher frequency, it requires a whole shift of every individual on your planet vibrating at that higher frequency in order for that full and complete open contact to occur. Now, moving from a lower density into the higher density is one of a powerful mutation, and it can be a challenging process, and many of you did not remember or were forced to forget certain experiences that you have had because having the conscious memory and the awareness of that reality would have overwhelmed you in lower energies when there was not as much information and a receptive field to actually do the work of exploring what those connections were about. So more and more people will be discovering these connections that have always been there.
So, from this understanding, it's less that extraterrestrials come down and more that we come up.
Yes.
And meeting somewhere where when the vibration is high enough, then maybe humanity doesn't get as shocked or traumatized
Yes,
by
precisely.
this reality shift.
Yes, precisely.
And that's part of your job being here is to help midwife.
Yes.
And to,
Well, that is your job too, not just our job. In fact, you are more responsible than we are for making this occur because humans themselves have to integrate this energy and this information and spread it amongst each other in order for the shift to really occur. So you yourselves as humans are the midwives, and we have already done the journey of ascension. At the level that we are at, we simply expand ourselves by serving others. And we have always been willing. We have only been nudging you vibrationally, helping you energetically at these other levels in recent years, so that the bigger shifts can happen. And as you do the work you're doing, you are being the midwives.
So many of us have come in with purposes
Yes.
to do this kind of work.
Yes.
And can it also be said that there's a hospice function to allow old patterns and ways and fixations to die?
That is a useful metaphor, yes.
Yes. It's hard for humans to get out of a linear time thing.
Well, yes, you are very much steeped in that illusion.
Yeah.
You are not getting out of it, you are simply realizing that it is an illusion.
Yes. And my sense is that we have agreed to be in three-dimensional reality for the teachings.
Yes.
And a lot of us understand evolution that, for example, rocks become more aware, and then plants are more aware, and then so it's kind of a gradient of
Yes.
awakening. Yet there's another understanding that the higher self sends a part of us or itself down here to have that experience,
Yes.
and that we simply go back to the higher self,
Yes.
which is a different way of understanding evolution than sentient beings becoming increasingly aware. And from this point of view, if we're sent down by the higher self and there's teachings, then we shouldn't really be in a hurry to leave because we're learning. But yet many spiritual traditions say we need to wake up and not come back. Yet from another standpoint, we need to be here to learn. And I'm a little confused.
Well, yes, those spiritual traditions base their understanding on a distorted perception of time. So much of the idea of reincarnation itself comes from seeing time as lineal, and therefore seeing the soul as something that comes back and forth between the different moments of time, when really the soul is beyond time. So it is almost as if both of these ideas are fully true, yet there is an even higher idea that we can perhaps hint at. So really every time that the soul leaves the body, there is a complete reabsorption into spirit. All of the constructs of the body and the mind and the personality and those sorts of energy fields dissolve, and layer by layer you simply are left with yourself as spirit. Now, there is still a unique soul in relation to spirit, yet that unique soul knows itself as the oversoul, containing many other oversouls within it. Well, yes, there's many layers and layers of oversouls, yet the soul knows itself as the oversoul and as spirit and as the unique soul it is. So many of these concepts are quite hard to describe because you must have a grasp of the nature of paradox. So when you get to these higher levels, things can occur both seemingly simultaneously and seemingly sequentially. And just because it is all here and now does not mean that even at these higher levels you do not use your focus to illuminate one specific bit of all that is for that snapshot, for that framework in the journey. Yet you have a deeper awareness of how it is tied in to every other moment, every other thing. And as you go to these higher and higher levels, you start to see yourself as the one. Now, you have asked about the rocks and the plants and the animals. They as well are part of the one. And truly, when you start to go into that realm beyond life and death, even those creatures experience themselves as spirit. So the need to not come back, well, the truth is that you, as you are now, never come back. So you've already done that. Yet, because there are infinite variations of even one lifetime, you will always be back in a different line of time. Once you go into spirit, you will be aware of your sort of expression across many infinite variations of even this one lifetime that you have. This is not the first time that you have lived this life even. So perhaps this is a bit much for you, it is boggling your head a bit. Though the idea is really that you are never the same person you were before. You never really come back at all, but you always come back at the same time.
So it could possibly be said that I could live this life another version and maybe make a different choice
Yes.
at different points in my life, and then my life would play out in a different way.
In a different timeline, yes,
In a
that is
different
occurring.
So when we regret maybe that we didn't make a choice, maybe in another life timeline we did make that choice.
Yes. Though there's no point to focusing on it and dwelling upon it, only realizing that you are here and now. You can view those other timelines, you can imagine what could have happened, and perhaps you gain some insight in your imagination of how you can bring the energy from that other timeline into this present reality.
So that's a useful thing to do in some
Yes.
ways. Instead of regretting, you say, well, I may have done it that way in that timeline, and what can I learn?
Yes.
As a way of kind of merging the multidimensionality.
Yes. It's a way as well of seeing yourself as beyond this one aspect of your soul, as a more multifaceted being. This soul that you are is one representation of many different versions of the person that you express as in different timelines. And this soul that contains all of those other people on different timelines contains as well even other past and future incarnations on other planets. The truth is they're all occurring simultaneously, and they're all different versions of you. They are not the same person you are. Yet you have that connection in which you can draw information from. You can see how those other lifetimes have similarities, have lessons for you. So enjoy getting those experiences, gaining insight from those visions. They'll also realize that every time you view one of those other timelines, you change the timeline. So the Akashic records, as many of you call it, are a crystalline moving structure. Every time you view the records themselves change. There's no way to fully grasp anything in this universe at all, because one of the fundamental laws of it is that everything changes.
And I've heard there are psychics who can read the Akashic records,
Yes.
and you could go to such a person and they could tell you everything about their life, your life,
Yes.
from simply having that ability.
Yes. But all of you can tap into that ability. Now, there is some truth about certain genetic markers that can be inherited or can be woken up. Though, because it is in your genes to have those abilities, anyone who practices and who has the desire can awaken more of those gifts. It simply starts with sensing. And trusting more in that force that you describe as imagination, for it is really a portal to much larger abilities. We thank you, yes.
So
I've recently heard that the colors of our chakras have been changing. I like the heart chakras changing from green to more of a pinkish rose color. Can you speak more to that? And is that true that they're changing in colors as we are ascending and getting into a higher vibration?
Well, yes. The pink quality of the heart chakra is what moves through the heart when you express the quality of unconditional love. The green color is the beginnings of that love, though that green color can also indicate when the love is still very much directed towards the self. The pink color begins to emerge more when there is this felt degree of love for the bigger picture and the ability to hold an energy that can give back to others and give back to the collective in a way of true compassion. So this quality of your heart has always been present, and many who have engaged in spiritual paths and practices have brought about this pink vibration in their heart naturally. However, because of the times of ascension on your planet, there is a collective merge or move towards many hearts at once becoming activated with this quality, with this gift of the heart. And this is why they see that the color is changing, because many more people are getting to this stage in their journey quicker.
And the chakras on the earth, they are moving as well?
The chakras of the earth?
Mm-hmm. Like,
well,
go ahead.
we wouldn't describe them as chakras in the same way that your body has 7 chakras. For your earth has many vortices, and they are moving, yes. They will always be focused at some locations, though certain portals on the earth are moving, and the energies between them are also changing at these times. The biggest change occurred quite a while ago already, when one center that has been described as the Kundalini center, which was present in the Himalayan mountains, moved to the Andean mountains. However, there are more changes to come. Is there some specific question about a certain vortex of energy?
The first thing I was thinking of was Mount Shasta.
Yes. Well, this center is likened to both a root and a crown by many on your planet. We would see it more like a crown, though we can also understand why you would interpret it as a root. Because this center is a cosmic gate that is where your planet receives the download, you could say, from the galactic center first. And from that center, Mount Shasta, the energy ripples out through the rest of the world. So there is a reverse conical shape above the mountain that allows for these energies to come through, and then it moves through these ley lines, as you have called them, to many other centers on your planet. For this reason, Mount Shasta has a very serene energy and is host to many different interdimensional beings that come and meet with people and also send their vibration throughout your planet.
Thank you.
We thank you, yes.
May I ask about vortices in the Oregon, Washington, Pacific Northwest area?
Yes.
Such as maybe Mount Adams. Are there any is there a particular reason why are vortices so strong in the Northwest that people become awakened when they're near them? There seems to be high amounts of awakened consciousness communities and vortices?
Yes, they do initiate a quicker awakening process for those who are already willing, though the nature of vortexes and vortices themselves simply are ones of expansion. So those who bring in a lower frequency energy into such a location would expand that energy as well. Hence, you experience things such as the crystal geyser at Mount Shasta. Someone comes in with the energy of greed, and that energy is equally expanded. There happen to be many who are on a path of awakening that are drawn to these regions at this time for a bigger purpose, so there seem to be a higher concentration of awakenings, though there are other vortexes around your planet that are nonetheless vortexes. However, they actually attract a negative energy and expand that energy.
Thank you.
Yes, we thank you.
May I ask, there's a lot of people who are becoming aware of the existence of astral projection,
Oh, yes.
and they are attempting to do it themselves. And could you say something maybe about what are some of the key things that most people are not aware of that's limiting them from being able to astral project?
Well, the first key limitation would be stress. When your body is in a great state of stress or is constantly producing many stress hormones, your ability to astral project will be greatly diminished. And so people need to be in a deep state of relaxation and rejuvenation in order to allow this sort of experience to become natural. There can be moments of astral projection that are forced from actually great stress on the body that dissociate one person from their physical body, and that is not the sort of astral projection experience that we would suggest. Now, you can also have astral bilocation experiences that are perhaps a bit easier to grasp than full and complete astral projection. There are certain degrees of projection in which you completely lose all association with your physical body. And these are very advanced states. However, everyone is capable of getting to this sort of state in which part of their energy body leaves and they are able to focus their energy body in another reality and feel the sensation of that reality, develop their psychic senses within that reality, which include your normal senses of sight, smell, taste, and touch, yet at that imagined level. And when you begin to develop this gift more, it will prove itself as quite a bit more valid than what you have deemed imagination to be in your terms, because the senses will then translate into the physical body. However, because there's still awareness of the physical body, we wouldn't describe this as a complete and total projection. Though this is a preliminary step, and with time you can get to a point where you can actually entirely leave your body at will. Though we also would say that this is not everyone's purpose. For most of you that would be drawn to this idea, it is probably not your purpose, actually. And it is more important for many who are very drawn to the idea of going to other worlds to also realize that those other worlds exist within this world and reality. That there is no real separation, And in order to really be in those higher states of bliss and joy that you seek, you have to first be fully here. So this is the caution that we have, is that many who seek these big and vast spiritual experiences are doing so motivated by their inability to cope with this reality, their dislike of this reality, and their feeling that they want to go back to those higher realities. The truth that we say to all of these individuals, whether they are star seeds or not, or whether they identify with that term or not, is that you have come here to make this earth plane more similar and even better than any of those higher dimensional incarnations you can remember or imagine. So you must make that the biggest work. And yes, go to these other realms in your meditation and in your dream time, though do not become so fixated upon it that it becomes your only focus and your only work. It is important to go to those states in order to gain the information that will allow you to change the world around you.
Thank you.
Our thanks to you. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Hi, Pleiadians.
Hello.
This is a consciousness of
Situations. It is important to examine what you are fundamentally believing. What are you fundamentally fearing? Now, there is a very common fear that is spreading that you as humans could potentially destroy the earth or destroy yourselves entirely. And this is a sort of collectivization of the most primal fear of all life, which is that you may die. So, again, when you come to understand multidimensional reality, you know that there are many versions of your earth, and even if you destroyed this version of your earth, there will be other earths. Same goes with your death. You can die in this reality and go back to source and say, I want to come back, and you'll simply shift into a different timeline in which you didn't have that death. So, knowing this helps a bit to understand the primal reaction of fear towards looking at those situations outside can be mitigated. And you need to create this new reality, yes, though the way that you do that is by helping others step out of the fear. When people are motivated to take political or social actions because of the fear they are feeling, rather than out of love, they will only add to the fear more. A protest done in fear of your inevitable death will generate a greater energy of fear. When you go to the same protest with the love of spreading the consciousness of returning to nature and restoring nature and remembering the vitality and the breadth of nature, you will generate a field of love. Does that help you get some idea?
Yes.
All right. So with that, how would you like to create your new reality? What does that look like?
I mean, unconditional love, communal, organic, natural, working together.
All right. Then we play with that and allow the love to guide you. For yes, there are many important things that need to happen on your planet, though your attitude is key in how you engage with anything. And the fear-based energies are only going to bring about greater fear, greater disconnection, and disharmony amongst you. And this path of communal living, of coming together, is really the most important aspect of how your future is going to be built, is by humans remembering their core essence is one of connection, and ending the programs, the patterning, the conditioning that has brought thanks to you.
I have a couple questions. put on events which are based on my understanding of spirituality and offering a spiritual education. And we endeavor to create a loving container that when negativity comes up, we consider it as a wounding and we witness and hold space. So in this container, because it is open to the public, in recent years, various forces or people who are more political have entered, and they're more around social justice, around anti-racism, social inequities and such, and they tend to carry a more adversarial, more conflicting, disruptive energy, and it's been a hard dance to how to handle that, and how much does the container contain, or how much do we create agreements where this kind of energy is not workable. Do you have something to say to that? Because I think it speaks to the larger collective and how these political energies interweave with spiritual principles.
Well, as we see many political movements on any side on your planet, there is a fundamental tone of resistance. And what you resist persists. This is part of the nature of this universe. When you have a very strong stance against something, you are really voting for that thing. So it is for that reason that we say the remedy for anyone encountering an adversarial, politically charged agenda is acceptance. As this acceptance will reflect to them what they need to do in order to actually change those greater circumstances. So it will be a big challenge for many to get beyond their own conceptions of resistance, because they have put a lot of energy into believing that resisting is helpful. However, noticing your own resistance in relation to these individuals or certain conversations or certain themes, noticing how this can build tension in your own body and facing that resistance with acceptance, facing any imagined ideation of what consequences could be, what ramifications could be, and simply greeting those with acceptance, taking your energy away from what could go wrong or what should happen, and simply being present in the moment, engaged with the reality of now, and accepting of it. You will find that it is much easier to navigate these very charged discussions. Now, many of these political situations are very important, and it is important to create balance and unification between races and between genders and between all variations on all sorts of these concepts that you have in your world. And the fundamental truth that you are all one is part of the coin, and the other part of the coin is that the trauma of oppression is something that is actually imbued within the genetic material itself. Understanding this paradoxical truth will help both sides. So you cannot use the understanding that all is one and all are made of the same energy to deny the struggle in other faces. And you cannot use the struggle to deny the fact that beyond all concepts, all are the same energy. It is a dance back and forth between realizing your individual expression and realizing your expression as spirit that will bring the greatest degree of change. can you play with that? Does that help a bit?
Yeah, I mean, the fear that I have is I accept, then those energies will take over.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, I'm feeling like having boundaries,
Yes.
but making them permeable and try to activate a dialogue.
Yes.
And how much they can be receptive to that. Because I do understand that we are both really trying to make a better world and to validate that their intentions are good. We just may have different ways. And what you said about what resists persists, I'm glad you said that because that's one of my guiding views. But yeah, that helps, thank you. I did realize it is a dance, and I think you articulated that well for me. And maybe to take this question to another place.
Though, in facing the fear that they may take over, do you understand what you energize with that fear?
Yes, I do.
So, when you again return back into that state of love and acceptance and acknowledge that fear, perhaps even in those conversations, in those moments, make it even that fear acceptable, even that reality, even that potentiality acceptable. It will bring and evoke a greater state of compassion in those around you. And we assure you, beyond that understanding, as that may help others, we assure you beyond that the community that has come together so far is grounded enough in love that there is not really a strong chance that anyone else could take over in that energy of fear. Really, the energy of love is more powerful than fear, so much so that when people come together in love, the fear around has to segregate itself. It has to break up. Fear does not unify people. It divides. And when you stay present in love and hold love for those people, perhaps you use some practice. One that is very helpful in your world is called the Ho'oponopono. Practicing such a tool can help you hold a state of love when you are faced with any such individual who brings that resistant energy, and doing that internally enough is alone to dissolve the fear and to change the whole energy structure outside as well. So this will be the good grounds for unifying even more.
So a lot of this is me deepening my faith in the power of love.
Yes.
And the power of the community that has evolved based
Yes.
on these love principles, these spiritual principles, is strong enough to handle.
Yes.
And that allows me to relax.
Yes. And really, when you relax, everything will work out. Because it is impossible to have an argument with someone who is relaxed.
And to take this to another place, with all what's happening in the contemporary world, politically and socially, etc., it seems that time is speeding up. Everything is moving faster.
Yes.
And the pendulum swinging faster between polarities. Do you have suggestions about how we can maintain an equilibrium in these activating times? Suggestions on practices or viewpoints that can just help us ride out these disrupting energies?
Well, starting where we left off, relax, first of all. Prioritize everything that allows you to surrender. So, our colleagues or allies have given you the formula. Follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome. And this has been something that has really started to touch people. And we see that many of you who consider yourselves spiritual follow your passion quite powerfully. And this is, first of all that you need to do to activate the flow of synchronicity. When you are living from your heart and living in love, it will attract like vibrations effortlessly. Though the most important thing is then to let go of attachment to the outcome. Because when you have an insistence on a particular outcome, the stress that creates in your field and in your body will repel the very synchronistic things that you desire. So this insistence is sort of the biggest issue that most of you face. You believe that things on the planet need to turn out a certain way, or things in your life need to turn out a certain way. And the fundamental understanding that will help you is to realize that whatever happens, love is present within it, because this is a reality that is built upon love and light. And the core intention of this particular universe is unconditional love. Whatever happens, that love will always be there. And so it is really a matter of bringing your body to remember that love more often. Now, there are practices of yoga to do that. There are practices of qigong to do that. There are practices of sound healing to do that. We could list all of the things that are out there. And we encourage you to, yes, try them all out, though realize that what you're doing within that is imprinting the memory of love in your body. And the more and more that you can come back to remember a relaxation into love in all that you do, the easier it will be to face what happens in each and every moment. And when you can relax into love, you will have more energy to follow your passion, to serve others, to give back to the world. And we are certainly not saying to not do something for the world and simply relax and peace out into love. We understand that some people interpret messages like this from higher dimensional beings in that way. We are saying, do serve others, do give, and also realize the most important part of all of it is that you have no attachment to the way it turns out, and no attachment to the results of the love that you give. When you give the love simply for the sake of giving it and seeing how it goes out into the world, you do not need it to see it in one way or another way. And so we see from even the channel's experience how giving with an attachment to how that gift is used has made for a very confusing experience. When you simply give and know that the act of the love that you share is helping your body remember the love that's eternal, then everything you do will be simply an act of your own practice of deepening into love. Can you play with that?
Yes. It reminds me of a quote by, I think, Mother Teresa.
All right.
Something like, you may build and they may burn it down, but build it anyways because it's not for them, it's for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Though, we would say, it is not even for you, for there is fundamentally no you, there is only spirit.
Yes.
All right.
Are you familiar with the term biological architect?
No. we do sense it is about time for us to close. Is there one final question that could wrap us all up?
I have one. It is a little confusing, again, to do time, like that humanity has a destiny, and how much is preordained, or how much is free will. And so, when you say how humanity is destined to be, could you give a little preview of that landscape of the Earth and human society? And how much is going to be that way, or how much is dependent on us?
Well, first, let's put it like this. Before there was anything at all, there was only source, which was empty, endless awareness without form. And source wanted to experience itself in form. So awareness moved and became as well consciousness. Consciousness created energy, and energy then allowed for an infinite amount of versions of a universe to form. And within every universe, created with different laws, different mechanics, there were an infinite amount of variations of that universe. All of this is created instantaneously at a higher level and creates infinite epochs of histories with endless details and records and files and so on and so forth. Now, all of this already exists. It has already happened from Source's perspective. And all of those infinite variations of your particular universe already exist from Source's perspective. They have already happened. Now, you as the creation, conscious and becoming more consciously aware of yourself in the process, is moving between different threads of time and space on the tapestry that already exists. So we say that you have free will, and it is predestined because every potential timeline that you could switch into and energize for yourself already exists. Does that make it a little bit more
It
clear?
makes it much clearer.
So, your planet has an infinite amount of variations of your future. And there are certain ones that are more common and more probable. Now, other versions of your planet devolved and became beings known as Greys. There are many different versions of Greys. This timeline of Earth has made agreements already with the Greys to go through a hybridization agenda, and 5 different races have been created already that are the splicing between your DNA from this timeline of your planet and a different variation of humans from a different timeline known as Greys. The destiny of your planet, if you choose to continue with the ascension protocols, would be to unify, to dissolve all of your borders. This occurs after open contact. And yes, dissolve the structure of money, dissolve all of the technology that pollutes, and use free energy technology that is self-aware to some degree, that is artificially intelligent, to create a different structure of your society. Though this occurs over hundreds of years, and the first such protocols that are occurring at this time on your planet are steps of open contact and the increase of love-based energies in the realms of politics and religion. Now, as the love frequency is spread more, and this is really the biggest work for all of you, is to find your own way to anchor love and to spread it and to shine it. Because the more that people can return into that frequency, the more that these situations can change, the more the information that is spread out to all humans can hold that love-based energy. You are all responsible for the love that you hold and emit. And when there is a high enough frequency within your communities for you to have open contact with extraterrestrials, that will begin the next phase. Now, this isn't fixed. You are vacillating back and forth all the time. And if certain experiences on your planet don't change, there is the possibility of continuing to postpone the open contact program. So this is why we say the work that you do in anchoring your love is key and necessary. And when you can have a vision for the world that you want to see, when you focus on the parts of life and creation that you feel most passionate about, and have a platform for your vision and share it with your world, when you stand for what you believe, and do so with love, not resistance, you are bringing that world into creation. So make sure that you do that. And the rest will be a beautiful dance and journey. Throughout it, you are indeed releasing belief systems and conditions that have been a part of your reality for some time. So it is by no means an easy journey, we know that. Though we do encourage you to realize that the love that is your eternal nature is with you in every step of the journey. Does that help you?
Yes.
Oh, all right. And we love all of you very, very much. And we would like to conclude now with one final procedure that can allow you to anchor deeper into the frequencies. As after this experience, there will be a sound wash, you could say, a sound bath, some of you call it. And we are not leaving as we stop speaking through the channel. Indeed, we are inviting even more of our allies to come into this space to have relations with you. So allow yourself to remain open to these vibrations, these encodements. And we offer you this little tool that you can use as a meditation. If you close your eyes and again smile into your heart center, bring all of your focus into the center of your heart itself and picture a beautiful figure 8 symbol there. The symbol of infinity itself. See it move and dance. And streams of energy go back and forth around in loops. Coming back to the center of your heart, moving to the other side, moving quicker and quicker. With every breath, this light expands, the light dances brighter. And allow this loop to then turn on its side and then expand through your body to reach up to the top of your head and down to the base of your spine, and see this loop of light again expand with every breath. The light move and dance, now expanding through your body. And as it does now, see it create an auric expansion around you, seeing a thread of light from your crown to your root expand out and move around your body, becoming a crystal column. This column moves infinitely up and down to the center of your earth and beyond, and up to the center of your universe and beyond. First begin by following this thread down, seeing roots of light that begin from the center of that infinity symbol in your heart, then move through your body to the base of your spine, out through your feet, and into the earth. As they enter the earth, they wrap around the roots of other plants, and through that web, mycelium that connects the plants across your planet. Breathing in the energy from this realm into your heart, and breathing out your own light and energy into that grid of plants, mycelium, taking in those electrical impulses as you breathe in, feeling how this realm gives you life, and acknowledging it as living within you, and taking a step deeper into now opening a connection with the minerals, the metals. Crystals, and all in its form beneath the earth. Feeling the consciousness of this realm and how it enriches you from down there. Your body composed of many of these same minerals. Breathe in their energy, and breathe your energy down into that realm of your earth. And then take your roots even deeper, deeper into the deep sediment, composed of many millions of years of decomposition. This is where fossil fuels, many other substances create a bedrock of energy for you. Some call this realm the Black Lake. And they're all of the life that has once lived on your planet, exists in a new form. The DNA of the plants and animals and humans, long ancestors, all exist within those substances. Breathe in the energy of this. Feel how it nourishes every layer that you've already traveled through, taking it all into your body and allowing yourself to drop even deeper. Following your energy trail down even further into the plasmatic layer of energy of your earth. There's molten energy around your earth's core. Feel that deep heat, much like a sun within your own planet. Take its energy up and into your body. And then allow you to feel that plasmatic energy move through you. And then go all the way down again to the solid iron crystal core of your planet, where all of this energy densifies and becomes very solid. Feel if you can hear the resonance of this place in your body. Allow its resonance to open up into the base of your spine, through your body, through all of these layers, taking in the deep rooting, knowing that all of these layers, these elements that you've traced down to the earth's center, make up your body. And feel all of those elements enliven in your body. Fill with the light of the earth, the plasma of the earth, the power of the earth. As this light begins to weave up your spine again, coming into your heart. And And from your heart now, allow for the cosmic gates to open, seeing great spirals of light that move from your heart and dance up into the cosmos. First, follow a spiral of light that leads up to your moon and to your sun, silver and gold in their nature. And take in the great power of the energy that gives life to your planet. Without the perfect balance of these two bodies, your Earth would not be as it is. And as they transmit their light to you, within that light there are codes, there's information that you can tap into even simply through this visualization. Through these channels, see the sunlight and the moonlight entering your body, descending into you, creating balance and rippling through you. And as you follow up even further through the sun, see a network of light spiral out, connecting to many stars that are your sun's siblings, many blue and white stars. Perhaps you find a star that suits you. You can meditate upon the likes of Sirius or Alcyon, Maya, Arcturus. You need not know exactly what it looks like to picture or imagine it. And feel how its light descends into your body from beyond through that image, descending through this channel of light into you. And follow again this energy even further into the center of your universe, the supermassive black hole that is also a great multidimensional gate for energies from many other galaxies to enter yours. Going through that great darkness into its center to notice it is infinite light. And as you go beyond here, as you allow this energy to descend into you, allow it to fill you with the love of the unknown. Conceiving of how vast this really is. There is more out there that you will never know from your point as a human. Yet in surrendering to and opening to that great unknown, you open into an even deeper and more powerful love. In accepting your place in the universe, you come to know yourself as that microcosm, that within you, you contain the whole universe. You contain the essence. All is one, and the all is within each one. The one is in all. And as you use this channel of light, feel the heart of the earth and the heart of the universe now merge in your own heart. And this great infinity sign, moving, dancing, unifying. For it is here in your heart center that you may know yourself as the all. And once you experience yourself as the all, you then begin to go beyond yourself. And as you continue to go beyond yourself, your planet shifts in accordance for others to go beyond themselves as well. And knowing that together you are cosmic family, celestial family. As you go beyond yourself, you allow many other selves to descend upon you. We thank you for allowing this transmission to occur once more. And again, stay open, stay tuned into your own imagination. For as you've invoked this energy today, many other beings are here to support you in this final closing journey. We love and thank you, and we will see you in many other ways.